What if I told you the cure for brain rot isn't a digital detox, but a stack of books? This January, I read 5 amazing books that helped me dive deep into some transformative reads that not only entertain me, but it helped sharpen my critical thinking. And you will not believe the unexpected connections that I have made and how you can do the exact same. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jaylene, and I love to read books by BIPOC authors. And this year, I have a mission to unroute my brain by reading books. If this sounds exactly like what you've been searching for, make sure you subscribe. I want to first begin with my stats from my critical media journal for the Anti-Brain Rot Reading Challenge created by Jananie. And if you have no idea what that is, she created a challenge that helps prevent brain rot and slow down the doom scrolling by reading books and critically engaging with media that you watch. I will leave a link to her original video and a video that I also made for my channel regarding the Anti-Brain Rot Reading Challenge down in the description. But this is my critical media journal, super cute. I got her from Dollar Tree. Love her. She's like $1.25 and has little oranges on the cover that are felt and really cute. Just a quick journal tour. I didn't really do anything creative, but I did put stickers on the front and the back pages of this journal because I've had so many stickers in my collection for over a year now. So I needed something to do with them and I put it in my journal. So this is just a brief synopsis of what this journal means to me and why I'm using this journal. And then I started a landing page for January, giving me a snapshot of everything that I've read for the month of January. And I've written down all the 5 books that I have here. I am missing one. I don't have the physical copy of the Reformatory, but all of these books right here, except for one, I got from the library. For the Anti-Brain Rot Reading Challenge, Jananie created 23 prompts to help you diversify your reading, and I hit 5 of those prompts only in this month, and that is really good for me. So let's go through that really fast. So the 5 prompts that I hit was fantasy, historical fiction, graphic novel. I read a book by a Black author that is still alive, and I read a book by an author that is not from North America. And I'm gonna go in order of the books that I actually read, just so it's easier for me to stay organized. But the very first book that I read this year was Immortal Dark by Tigges Germa. I was able to read this book immersively with the audiobook and the physical copy, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and I rated this book 4 stars. This book is all about a girl named Kadon, and she has an agenda. Number 1, she wants to find her missing sister that got kidnapped by a vampire from University, and she wants to kill the vampire who kidnapped her sister. But now Kadon is forced to live with the alleged kidnapper of her sister, and deep secrets about her family and the university get exposed in the worst way possible. I was able to fly through this thick-ass book only because of the audiobook. I feel like if I didn't listen to it at all, it would have taken me probably a week or a week and a half to read this book because I'm not very much of a fantasy reader, but this was an amazing book. From the jump, I can tell that Kadon was a very lost soul after she partook in something that happened to a family member of hers that resulted in that family member passing away. But the main premise for this entire book is for her to attend University to try to find her missing sister June and kill the kidnapper. After Kadon eventually established herself at the school, I can tell that the characters and the friends that she started to develop were a bit morally gray and off in a way because a lot of the students at the school and her friends are affiliated with the politics and the socialism at the university. And like with any fantasy book, there's always a hierarchy. You have the Draenics, who are also known as vampires, and you have the humans, who are known as Octis. Obviously, at this university, it's a vampiric university, so the vampires are superior and the humans are inferior. But I definitely felt that the characters' attitudes and behaviors fit the feel of the university because to me, as I was reading it and listening to it, the atmosphere felt very dark and dreary. It's almost as if there was always a looming cloud casted over the school, like there was a dark omen at the school at all times. But that's most likely because all of the deep secrets, secret societies, and power-hungry families that are the pillars of this university. The immortals on campus definitely have a long and withstanding relationship with other families on the campus. The feeling of having to be a superior family is a little corny to me, but that's just my opinion. As far as the magical element, you don't have to agree with me, but I feel like this book has parallels to the book Blood at the Root in reference to an underground school where people who are misfits and wouldn't really fit into the real world because they'll be outcasts, that's where they all go to flourish and be with their own kind of people. All the trials and tribulations that Kadon had to go through, I did feel for her at times, and I am beyond excited to pick up Eternal Ruins, which is the second book, because this one 100% ended off on a cliffhanger, and I don't know how I feel about that because it's a bit unsettling to me, so I need to know what happens in the second book. And moving right along to The Reformatory by Tanana Reeve-Dew. This was my first 5-star read of the year, and I'm so happy that I picked it up. I listened to the audiobook for this through the Hoopla app, and while I was listening to it, I definitely annotated a lot in my journal because there is so much to write down. But The Reformatory is about two siblings who are living in Florida during the Jim Crow era. One day, Gloria, who is a sister, was getting hit on by a white boy, and her brother was not having that. Robert was not having that, so he stuck up for her and he put his hands on the white boy for trying to get at his sister, and that's when everything went downhill. So because of Robert's actions, he got sentenced to 6 months at a reformatory school for boys. And for those that don't know, this fictional story is actually based on a true story about the Dozier School for Boys here in Florida. The author actually had a real family member named Robert Steve Jr. attend this school while he was an adolescent, and he actually died at this school at the age of 15. Mind-blowing. There were huge themes and major themes in this book, one of them being social injustice in the African American community, racial profiling, abuse of power, and the lack of empathy for human beings. And it's truly unfortunate that these are the stepping stones of America and states in the Southern Belt. The racism that Robert had to deal with was honestly unfathomable, and it was gut-wrenching, and it was really hard to listen to at times. And it's crazy that he was getting tortured and punished just for sticking up for his sister, and punishment that he was receiving, it was way too harsh. I couldn't imagine what it would feel like to be dehumanized and looked down upon by a white person. Let's call a spade. But this is the same exact dilemma that is happening right here, right now in our real life. Toward the latter half of this book, when Gloria's people was helping create a plan to help Robert escape, they're using slave hymns to help lead him to safety, which is what our ancestors once used. And I love that the message that I interpreted from that part of the book is that we can use the land to call upon to lead us back to safety and lead us back home. The third book that I read this month was Bitch Planet by Dominic DeLandro, and this is a graphic novel. Book number 1. This was my very first graphic novel. I love all the illustrations in this book. But it's funny because in the first couple of pages, all you see is titties and hairy coochie. Oh god, this is gonna get censored on YouTube. I can't show you guys, but if you ever want to read this book, just be aware that there's a lot of that. But I rated this book 3 stars. But from what I interpreted about this graphic novel is that women that were non-compliant were sent to a faraway planet called Bitch Planet to basically serve time for their crimes. Some of them were violent, some of them were even real offenses. And when I say that, I mean some of these women were sent to this planet just because they may be overweight. What kind of bullshit is that? Another thing about this is that these women, I believe they were getting filmed as if they were on a reality TV show. So people on Earth were able to watch these women basically live their life on this planet while they were incarcerated. And based on what they were doing on the planet to one another is how their ratings would be perceived here on Earth for the television show. So the more chaos that happened on this planet, obviously the higher ratings. It was something quick to read. It was, I don't know, 70 something pages. So it was a very quick palate cleanser that I enjoyed. Book number 4 was The Scammer by Tiffany D. Jackson. I rated this insane book 4 stars. You follow along the story of college roommates that are freshmen that attend an HBCU called Fraser. Then one day, one of the roommates' brothers wants to come live with the girls because he recently just got out of prison and he just needed a place to crash until he got on his feet. This book did start out as a normal book, nothing out of the ordinary. You basically, and if you've ever been to college, it's dorm life living, so you know how it is. But then one of the roommates, her name is Vanessa. Now Devontae is 100% a charmer and he is a master manipulator. It was so easy for him to manipulate and brainwash these girls to the point where he was able to foster enough people to begin a cult on campus that he wasn't even supposed to be at in the first place. Granted, this was a co-ed dorm, so obviously boys and girls live there, but you have a grown-ass man that you can tell just got out of fucking prison living with these young adults. I don't know how the RAs or anyone in these dorms didn't say a word to him. And he wanted to call his cult emancipation. As Devontae was able to spin his web of lies and deceit, the roommates were definitely being ensnarled by all of his bullshit. I know the girls are young and naive, but damn, they were really fucking stupid in this book. So I thought. One of them, so I thought. It was to the point that I felt they lacked so much common sense and they had no instinct for detecting a predator. I don't care how charming somebody is, if I'm having these alarm bells go off in my head that someone is no good for me, then I'm gonna try to stay as far away from them as I can. The main character, Jordan, really wanted to go to Frasier because she had a brother who unalived himself that actually went to the same school. So I feel like she wanted to fill a void and live vicariously through her late brother by attending Frasier, which her parents absolutely hated because they were wanting her to go to Yale, to a predominantly white university instead of an HBCU. But she too had something up her sleeve and she had an agenda. That's all I can say about that, because if I go too much further, it'll ruin the plot for the book and the plot twist. Don't let Jordan fool you. That's all I'll say. One last thing about author Tiffany D. Jackson. When she writes her books, she actually uses real life stories and events and loosely portrays them in every one of her books. So I was told that this book, The Scammer, was loosely based off of a show that is on Hulu, a documentary. The fifth book that I read for this month was Hold My Girl by Charlene Carr. I rated this book 4 stars because it was a very hard book to read as a mom. I can't even lie, but it was really, really good. This book follows the lives of 2 women named Catherine and Tess, and these 2 women have gone to the same fertility clinic, and one day they get a call from the clinic saying that their eggs have been swapped. Now you have a devoted mother and the biological mother basically in a custody battle over a child that they both think is theirs. Being a mom myself, I had a difficult time reading this book because of all the maternal instincts and intuition that was in my gut during this entire book. The life that Tess was living through the entirety of this book and all the experiences that she went through in her life definitely went against her throughout the entirety of this book. I believe that she was already at the lowest point in her life when she received the news of her eggs being swapped with another woman. From Tess being taken advantage of during college to her lifestyle choices that she made later on in life as an adult has made an impact on how everything played out for this story. Now for the nurse Irene, who actually swapped Catherine and Tess's eggs. She got off way too easy. Way too easy. I wish something worse would have happened to her, and I don't mean in like a physically hurting her kind of way, but I feel like she should have spent life in prison, in my true and honest opinion. A little slap on the wrist of getting fined and her license revoked for life, I don't think that was enough. I really don't. I understand that Irene thought she was helping Tess in this instance, but it just made everything so much worse. And I will say that Catherine also experienced great loss in this book as well, because Irene swapped Tess's egg into Catherine and Catherine's egg into Tess. And as you know in the synopsis, Tess experienced a stillborn, which was Catherine's actual egg. It was her daughter. So although Catherine is not a real mother, quote unquote, because Tess's baby Rose is not her biological daughter, she still experienced great loss and her family went through a lot during this entire book. I know Catherine had a huge vendetta against Tess at the beginning of this book, really more like through 70% of the book, she had a huge vendetta against Tess. But I feel that the turning point, Catherine realized that, you know, let me not be mad at this woman because she should also be able to experience a life of her own that she created, even though the baby was implanted in me. At one point, Catherine was able to put her feet in Tess's shoes and walk in her life just for a little bit and realize that this is not the end of the world to share custody with Tess. And I don't even want to touch base on Patrick. I have strong feelings against him. I don't like him for what he did to Catherine. But Patrick, we don't fuck with you over here, my dog. No, sir. And because of the actions that Patrick partook in, that caused a huge rift in the Mathesons family and in their dynamic. This book was truly sad, but it came to a bittersweet ending that I enjoyed. Amazing book for anyone that wants to read it. I actually forgot to mention this at the beginning of the video, but I read an article this month as well that's part of the curriculum for the Anti-Brain Rot Reading Challenge. And for the article that I read, it is called Demystifying the New Dilemma of Brain Rot in the digital era, which is very fitting for this topic. Now, in this article, this paper discussed the topic of the phenomenon of brain rot, and this term was actually polarized by Oxford's Word of the Year, referring to the mental fatigue, poor focus, and cognitive decline linked to brain rot and living life on your phone all of the time. And that is because a lot of people, if not all people, at some point in their day watch low quality content. The key causes for brain rot is because of excessive screen time and the instant gratification of the feedback loop from social media platforms. It's so obvious what screen time is, but in this article it says that the average young adult spends 6.5 hours a day watching low value content on social media. And because of the way that these social media platforms are created and the algorithm is created, like on TikTok, Instagram, etc., it uses a reward loop that reinforces constant scrolling, and it reduces the proper function of your brain. And in turn, because of the behaviors of brain rotting, that is when doom scrolling and zombie scrolling come into play. We are all guilty of doom scrolling. I get it, me included. I do it sometimes. A lot of the time, I can't even lie, but I'm trying to cut back on my screen time and on my doom scrolling. So in turn, what you can do is try to watch high value content while you are scrolling on your phone and try to learn something. The effect that doom scrolling and brain rot has on your actual brain is detrimental because it can affect your mood, it can increase your stress, increase your anxiety, you can get depression, memory problems, and impaired executive function like planning and decision making. Now, there are 3 strategies that you can use to combat brain rot. Number 1, go touch some fucking grass. Get outside, leave your phone inside, don't even touch it, don't even think about it, out of sight, out of mind. That way you won't have such an anxious relationship to have your phone in your hand 24/7. Number 2 is limit your screen time. And the third one, like I said previously, is to prioritize watching high value content and watch something and learn something that you can apply to your everyday life. So if you are trying to unrot your brain, please subscribe and join in on this movement. Plus, YouTube thinks that you're gonna like this video here, so go watch it, enjoy, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.